episode 1. But if you haven't, go and have a look. Just to simplify, this is a £100 betting challenge. So effectively, we're largely betting on next goal events in Premier League, Championship, and major European League games. So I've been joined by my right-hand man for this escapade, one Mr. Lee Wilshire at Chipper Cruel. How are you tonight, Lee?
I am very well indeed. Des, how are you doing?
I'm good. Only slightly less stressed than I was on Saturday when we did this for the first time, because in my experience, when you try and develop a new format and you throw a bit of technology at it and stuff, the first week or two can be a bit of a nightmare just trying to get everything aligned. And I think, one of the purposes that we're running Match Day 2 tonight, where we're going to focus predominantly on the Championship, but also on some Champions League games that are taking place, is to try and iron out some of those formatting bugs. Yeah. So, do excuse us, guys, if it looks a little bit makeshift in points, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless, Lee. You?
Yeah, well, we've got a right mix of games tonight, haven't we? We've got a bunch of games in the English Championship. We've got the German Super Cup, which is two huge sides, and which are putting out strong sides tonight. That kicked off at 7:30, Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich, and of course we've also got these interesting Champions League qualifiers, and there's one Europa League qualifier as well, which are always fascinating this time of the year. The strength of the sides that the teams put out, and obviously trying to get into those group stages where the real money starts coming into play for these teams. So lots to play for.
It's exciting because you've reached that stage in the Champions League where the clubs are recognisable now. So you will recognise some of the clubs that are playing tonight. But from the top, let's just quickly roll through the games that we're covering. So Dortmund against Bayern Munich. This is in the German Super Cup. Quite what the purpose of having the German Super Cup in the second week of the German leagues, I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit like the European Super Cup, isn't it? It's sort of a bit of an erstwhile type fixture. But you told me earlier both teams have put out strong lineups. So clearly both managers want to win this game.
Yeah, I mean it's the teams. It's packed full of the usual talent. So Royce and Haaland up front for Dortmund. Lewandowski's playing for Bayern. So yeah, and it's pretty much this close to their strongest 11s, I would suggest, for these games. So you'd hope to see goals in this. It is 25 minutes in and 0-0 at the moment.
It's the way it works. It's the way it works.
Yeah. But of course, the interesting for our point, the interesting for us, we're not worried about that, because what we're interested in is the data, is the stats, is who's applying the pressure, who's got the shots on targets, who's unlucky not to have scored yet, and trying to use that information to make educated bets.
That's right. It's looking for a tiny edge. A tiny edge. It might be quite small, but nonetheless, an edge is an edge in sports betting. Now, Dortmund and Munich might appear to be a blue-ribboned game on the European football front, but can it compare to Barnsley against Luton in the Championship? I'm not sure. Certainly not for pies and all sorts of good things like that. So Barnsley and Luton playing in the Championship. Luton a goal ahead. So they had a losing start to the season on Saturday. They'll be glad to be a goal ahead at Barnsley. Blackpool and Coventry both level. Huddersfield and Preston level. Fulham 2 up against Millwall. You'd have to say, despite losing Harry Kewell on Saturday, Fulham went on to win. I think it was like 4-1 or 5-1. I think it might have been 5-1. They're looking incredibly strong at the start of the season to return to the Premier League. Of course, it's very, very early. Peterborough and Cardiff locked at 0 apiece. Swansea and Stoke likewise. We had to wait all day long for Stoke last weekend, Lee. You might recall it. It was our last failed bet. They failed to score. It was a 0-0 game, and they're currently embedded in another 0-0 game. I'm not sure I'm going to be looking out for Stoke too much this year. Reading and Bristol also playing in the Championship, but kicking off at 8 o'clock, which it is now. So I'm just going to start our clock, because our
you definitely just boxed, because Stoke have just taken the lead.
The lead, have they? Yes, folks, this is the place to come to if you want. Yeah, good knowledge. Yeah, stark insight. This is, there it is, Nick Powell in the 15th minute for Stoke. So the Champions League, Lee, here's the fixtures tonight. So Salzburg are playing Brøndby. We've got Monaco against Shakhtar Donetsk. Is there anyone in the world who's gone, oh, yes, we've got Shakhtar Donetsk in the group stage of the Champions League anywhere, ever? I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
But we know they'll end up in Man City's group in about a month's time anyway. So these things, they just happen like that. We've got Sheriff Tiraspol. It's a new one on me. I've heard of Sheriff before, but against Dinamo Zagreb. And then you've got Red Star Belgrade against Cluj. And all of those games have just kicked off. Those are 8 p.m. kickoffs. The Red Star Belgrade Cluj game is in the Europa League. So that is our card of fixtures for tonight, folks. I think we've got 12 games, including the German Super Cup. That's been going for 30 minutes. Why don't we dig in there firstly? Let's see what there is to find out. Well, if you look at the old pressure bar, and I just remind you guys that the green bars that you see there reflect home team pressure, and in this particular game, that's Dortmund. The blue bars represent away team pressure, and the length of those bars dictate, if you like, the amount of pressure in any given minute. So Bayern Munich trending very, very strong at the start of that game. It looks like Dortmund have had a little more of it since then. Let's see if the stats marry up with that picture. So surprisingly somewhat, Dortmund have had slightly more of the ball with 53% possession. They've had 2 shots, 1 on target, and Bayern have had 4 shots, none on target. And I think that sort of fits with Bayern having slightly more pressure earlier on in the game. So not a lot happening there, Lee, goal-wise, but you'd have to say with 6 shots in the first 30 minutes, a goal doesn't feel to be too far away there. Do we fancy Bayern or do we fancy Haaland? Because this is Munich against Haaland, right? It might as well be. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Dortmund put, what was it, 5 on the weekend? I think they scored in the end.
They did, yeah.
Haaland got a couple and set a few up as well. So they're certainly scoring the goals at the moment. Arguably more so than Bayern. Bayern had a shocking pre-season and have not really kind of set the world alight since the league has started. The value, I guess, looking at the odds at the moment, Des, is going to be with Dortmund. Dortmund are 2.2 at the moment to score next. Bayern are 1.8. Both are pretty reasonable though, because we take 1.8 as a bet on these next scorers. That's for sure. And you kind of feel there's got to be goals in this game, don't you?
I think so. In fact, if you look at the last couple of minutes since we started to talk about this fixture, I mean, there is more pressure coming from Dortmund. Again, it's not super intense pressure, but it does suggest that they are in and around the Bayern goal. They've had 2 shots. Bayern have had 4. You're still sort of, tossing a coin as to where this next goal will come from. What are we getting on Bayern?
1.8.
1.8 on Bayern. I mean, I'd be tempted to bet Bayern, despite what that picture is saying. But you could challenge me on that, I have to say.
Well, I must admit I would. I mean, the pressure is currently with Dortmund. They've got 55% of possession so far in this first half. They just had another shot on target, so that's 2-0 shots on target at the moment. It does feel at the moment as if it's with Dortmund. But obviously we've got about 15 minutes left of this half, and as we always say, Des, the half time, around that half time point, it's difficult to kind of see what's going. So it's whether Dortmund are going to, we'll get one in the next 15 minutes, or whether it's going to play out till 0-0 at half time. I feel maybe it's Dortmund will be the better bet. Okay. Just as I'm saying that, the market's gone suspended just as I say that.
Well, look, interestingly, here's the way we work this, guys. We have 12 games in play at the moment. We have an opening balance of, let me just check, 110, right? So our 100 has become 110 for match day 2. We're going to be betting no more than 10% of our bankroll at any one time, as Brondby take the lead against Salzburg. So I'd have to say, Lee, I think we're going to need to get some money on. There aren't that many games available to us this evening. If the data is saying Dortmund, let's stick a tenner on Dortmund and see whether we can bring it home.
We're back. Well, we're back in on the market now, and let's just bring up the gone back live again. Yeah, so it's still 2.2 for Dortmund and it's 1.83 for Bayern Munich.
Okay, well, we're just about to put 10 crispy pound coins, if you can have crispy pound coins, on Dortmund. So you can put that in the book, Lee. We're away. Okay, let's go back to the fixtures. So Barnsley-Luton currently leading by a goal at this point. Not a lot happening there from a pressure point of view. Okay, so you can see that Luton had a little more of it in the first 10 minutes. They're a goal up. That makes sense, but I don't see a lot happening. Otherwise, it may be better games to target, Lee. Let's have a look at Blackpool-Coventry. And again, much of a muchness, not seeing a huge amount to tempt me into, just as Bristol take the lead against Reading. Not a lot to tempt me into betting on Blackpool-Coventry. Huddersfield-Preston, with 20 minutes in here. Now a little more coming from Preston, Lee. So I can see that pressure beginning to build a little now. What odds would we get on next goal for the away team here?
So Preston are currently 2.2. Huddersfield are 2.1.
It's interesting. So we're seeing the green bar coming back for Huddersfield. Let's delve into the stats. So Huddersfield have had a little more of it. They've had 50%, 52%. However, they've had one shot versus 4 shots from Preston. Now, Preston haven't got one on target, but that's pretty substantial.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Preston lost at the weekend away to Reading 2-1, and Huddersfield got thumped at home to Fulham 5-1. So both of them did score at the weekend, but it does feel a bit like it's a coin flip as to which one of them is likely to do it. So we're going to be going on the stats and the pressure. That's what we're going to be looking at here.
That, my friend, is what we do. So let's see if we can find Huddersfield and Preston. There it is. So we're saying 2.2 on Preston. We're going to get £10 on that one to put our second. Accept the price change. So 2.2 has become 2.25. Absolutely. We'll absolutely accept an improvement in our odds. That bet is placed. We can book that, Mr. Wilshire, sir. Okay, let's go back to the fixtures. Let's go to Millwall and Fulham. So Fulham 2 up here. Continuing on with the pressure. Maybe not as much now. Fulham have had 52% possession. They've had 3 shots, 2 on target, 2 in the net. Happy days. Not a lot coming out of Millwall, just 1 shot. I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted to say let's go further down the list there, because it seems to have settled down a little bit. A little bit of Millwall pressure in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? The team, Fulham went 2-0 up within 8 minutes, and it's tough to know whether they're going to see that. Obviously, they put 5, as I just mentioned, they put 5 past Huddersfield at the weekend, so they are free scoring at the moment. Millwall, on the other hand, I think was it a 1-1 draw at the weekend, if I remember rightly. I think it was. It was 1-1 at home to Blackburn at the weekend. So
we did win a little bit of money on Millwall on Saturday. So what do you fancy Fulham? Do you want to take a tickle? This is a joint challenge.
Before we do, I was about to say before we do that, can I just say, because it came up saying Borussia Dortmund 1, Bayern Munich 0. It's gone back to 0-0 now. So I don't know whether there was some VAR that's just gone on there.
I think we can say balls on this channel, can't we? Balls.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling that something's just gone down in the German Super Cup. Yeah, I personally think we go. Right. We go again. Yeah,
we're clearly not at our most decisive tonight. We're going to be very decisive for the rest of this. So we're going to go on Fulham at 2.1.
I think 2.1 at Fulham is a good odds. That does.
We had Chelsea at like 1.29 on Saturday. 2.1 on a free scoring Fulham. Yeah, we'll have a shot at that. We're not always going to be right, but we're just looking for little edges, and you can't argue with current pressure. Okay, let's go back to the fixtures. So Peterborough and Cardiff currently locked at 0 apiece. Nothing Nothing that I'm liking there. I mean, let's have a quick look at the stats. One shot in the game off target. So let's get our money back. If
not
we're
a lot,
supporter
not a lot
there.
going on there. Is there really?
No, Swansea and Stoke. Similarly, Stoke a goal up. They've had a little more of it, but it looks to be quite settled at the moment. There's no.
Yeah,
no
I mean, Swansea saw out a 0-0 draw with Sheffield United at the weekend. Stoke saw out a 0-0 draw away to Birmingham at the weekend. I'm surprised there's a goal in there at the moment. But if you look at those stats there, Des, I mean, that tells you everything, doesn't it?
Well, they've only had 31% possession. They've had 4 shots with 2 on target, 2 goals in the back of the net. I mean, that's pretty astonishing, really. Okay, yeah. We'll keep an eye on Stoke, I think. Sorry, 1 goal in the back of the net, I should add. So Reading a goal down to Bristol City. That game is suggesting it's only in the 11th minute, Lee. So this one has kicked off late, or perhaps this was in fact an 8 o'clock.
That's the 8 o'clock game. That's the 8 o'clock game.
That makes sense.
And an early goal in that already. It looks like it's been all Bristol City by the looks of it.
It does indeed. So Bristol have had just the 1 shot. So again, they've had more of the ball, but very little action happening in and around.
The interesting one there will be, obviously that's an early goal for Reading. You look at the market, and Reading are 1.73 to score the next goal. Bristol City are 2.63.
Yeah.
So it would suggest that
there's nothing in that pressure bar to suggest that Reading are coming back hard at Bristol City at the moment, is there?
No, but I think it's one to keep an eye on, that if it looks like they're building up a little bit of momentum, bear in mind we're only 12 minutes into that game, so there's a fair way to go to half time, which means if we see that Reading do start applying the pressure, and we're not seeing the odds on them scoring next dropping massively from 1.73, then we might look to jump on that.
Absolutely. So let's take a quick look at the European games then. So the Champions League, there's 3 fixtures taking place there. Brøndby, perhaps surprisingly, leading in Salzburg. A lot of Salzburg pressure there, Lee. Can you get me a price on Salzburg to score next?
Well, Salzburg were ridiculously short odds to score first in this game before it kicked off. After Brøndby have taken the lead, you'd be surprised to hear that those odds have dropped even further. They're 1.17 at the moment. Salzburg to score next.
There's no price value on Brøndby? Is there a corresponding value on Brøndby?
They are 5. They're at 5.
Wow. So that's one to keep an eye on. So clearly very little possession at the moment. I mean, in fairness, they've only had 1 shot, and that ended up in the back of the net. So. Yeah, I mean,
you feel. I mean, Salzburg were favourites to win that game, say at kickoff, and you can only see Salzburg coming back into it. But they've gone from 1.17 up to 1.2, but still, there's not enough value in there for you to want to do that.
Let's go to France. Monaco against Shakhtar, scoreless at the moment, but all Shakhtar according to this. That
now interestingly, Shakhtar. Yeah, Shakhtar are 2.75 to score the next goal. Monaco at 1.57.
Okay, so Shakhtar have had 76% of the ball, Lee. They've only had 1 shot. It was on target. They're winning all of the stats. They've had 122 passes to 37. They've only had 4 long balls, so they're passing short. A lot of successful dribbles. I mean, the data there suggests, we got the right odds, we should be having a little pop on Shakhtar.
Yeah, they're 2.75, Des.
Oh, there's been a goal in the Dortmund game, and it's gone to Bayern Munich.
It's not gone the way we wanted it to go.
You've got to have a swing at it, my friends. You've got to have a swing. But unfortunately, we go a goal down on our bet meter. Winning bets nil, losing bets.
That was 1. So just to give you an idea, Bayern, after we put the bet on, went on a ridiculous. Up to 10 shots. Now they're 10 shots to 4 in that game, wow. But that goal was their first shot on target.
Wow. Okay. Well,
so it looks like they peppered the Dortmund box and have finally broken through.
Oh, there's a goal for a Red Star. They've taken the lead against Cluj as well. So let's carry on looking at these European games. So what are we saying about Shakhtar? I mean, we're getting the odds there.
Yeah, I think it feels, looking at the stats, that's one to get in the mix, definitely.
Okay, let's see if we can can do that. We've got a somewhat sticky app. So next team to score, we are looking at Shakhtar. We're gonna have to dive deep.
Yeah, it's a little bit further down the list there. 2.75 there, you can see it there.
There we go. Okay, guys, we've added that to the book. Now it's really unfortunate to lose the first bet because we are now chasing. We are now chasing the game, albeit we've got pretty serious odds on all of these games that we have currently in betting. So let's just carry on through the rest of the card and then we'll assess our bets. So Sheriff against Zagreb. No goals, 17 minutes gone there. A lot of early pressure from Sheriff, it looks. Statistically, 4 shots, none on target, 2.
Interestingly, the odds on that, Des, is so FC Sheriff are 2.25 to score the next goal. Zagreb are 2 to score the next goal.
Well, Zagreb have had more of the pressure for sure.
The home team, the home team of so Zagreb have more possession, but it's the home team that have had more of the chances. That market's just gone suspended, which means that normally means there's some action.
Who do we like in this one at the moment, based on what we're seeing?
And it's gone back again. Well, I mean, from the stats, even though they've not had the possession, they've had the very few chances that they've been. FC Sheriff at 2.25, but Zagreb, I would suggest at 2 is not the worst odds either. They're both of them are pretty decent odds. Yeah.
So despite Zagreb being the favourites, and they are the favourites, you can see another period of pressure starting from Sheriff there, just on the chart as we look live. The stats are favouring Sheriff at the moment. The odds are also we shouldn't be frightened of that if we think the stats are reasonable. It feels like good value to me. I think I'd have a little pop on Sheriff.
Yeah.
I think home advantage in a Champions League game is such an important thing as well. Okay, let's see.
Market's just gone suspended again.
We'll take a look at this.
Back again. So,
is it back?
Yeah.
So many games.
2.25 on them at the moment. So
let's do it. So how many open bets do we have now, Lee? Let me just.
Well, unfortunately, to say the Borussia Dortmund one had already lost for us. So we did have 5. We put 5 bets on, and we've got 4 in play at the moment.
Now, Lee, you're going to have to tell me, as we
and Shakhtar Donetsk have taken the lead.
Have they really?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good news. We like this. Where am I? We like this very much. So let's.
Although I did say Borussia Dortmund took the lead before they took the goal away, but I'm pretty sure we can safely. Are we safely saying that Donetsk one is a?
It looks to be a goal.
I know it's gone. I can't. I just want to double check that it isn't. No, it's showing definitely as a goal now.
I'm still showing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can safely say that one's that we will change to a win.
Fantastic. Let's put the card back up. So that's our first win.
That looks a little bit better at 2.75, doesn't it? So we've got 3 in play at the moment. So Preston, who are away to Huddersfield, that's 0-0 at the moment. We've got Fulham away to Millwall, they're 2-0 up at the moment, and then we've got FC Sheriff at home to Dinamo Zagreb, and that's 0-0 at the moment. All at nice odds: 2.25, 2.1, and 2.3. So, but we've already had a 2.75 winner, which is good stuff.
That is a good start. So, our last match of the card, Lee, is Red Star Belgrade against Cluj. So, Red Star a goal up, 20 minutes gone there. And, well, that might make it very easy. We don't seem to be getting any data. If I put that back on screen, you will see it's flatlining, mate.
So we're not seeing anything on there. So it's not we're not going to take any risk on that one. I think they're already Red Side 1-up already. They're at 1.57 to score the next goal. Cluj are at 3. So I'm not feeling much love for that, Des, without knowing any of the stats behind it.
We're just going to take that one off. There we go. Okay. So that's the card guide.
I'm just looking to see if I can pick up any other stat. What I can tell you, actually, Des, in that game, Red Star have had 4 shots on target so far to Cluj's 1, and that's in the first 20 minutes of the game. They've had 53% of the possession against 47% for Cluj. They've had 8 dangerous attacks to Cluj's 6. So it feels like it's going with the stats at the moment.
No, absolutely. Okay, so what do we think of the weekend, Lee? I mean, I think we've got a requisite number of bets in play now. While we're 22 minutes into the Champions League games, we're 35 into the Championship games. So we're going to be getting close to halftime. And we tend to stay a bit shy of betting the closer we get to halftime because the momentum can switch. So let's have a little chat about the weekend. Obviously, the first game back in the Premier League, some big results, a couple of shock results as well. What did you make of City on Sunday?
Is that a shock result?
Really? I think so. Yeah, because I think City are good and Spurs are not so good. So, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think the reality is for City at the moment, they're playing with it, trying to work out exactly who's playing what, where, and how, and what the plan's going to be. And Grealish is coming to that side, and as much as you always hear clubs say, "Oh, it's great for the players when a new signing comes in and a big money signing," but it can also work the other way. And it very much felt that way on Sunday for City. Just didn't really have much direction or an idea what they were going to do, and Tottenham sort of did a job on them, really.
Yeah.
And deserved it. I mean, it wasn't a case that they snuck a 1-0 and didn't. They deserved that win. I don't think it'll make a huge difference as to the end of the season for City. I think they're still going to be there or thereabouts.
They can only get 111 points now.
Is that all already? Yeah,
they can only get 111. It might not be enough.
No, it might not be. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But I think it's early days. I think it's all signed up that it's going to be. You still think Kane's going to go? That still very much is the feeling that he is going to be. Before the end of the month, we'll see Harry Kane signing for City. That's a frightening thought, because I think if you put Kane into that side, it really does look a strong chance that City are going to retain the title.
Absolutely. I have to say, sure. I mean, there were some great results for some of the other fancied clubs, and we'll come on to talk about those. But for me, the best result of the weekend was the return of sensible refereeing.
Oh, massively. Yeah.
I mean, the mood has changed completely. I haven't heard such positive vibes around referees for quite some time, but a much more challenging look at fouls, a little more benefit to the attacker in offside type scenarios. It's all good, right? It's going to return the English League to the sort of games that we want to see.
It feels like the Premier League watched what happened in the Euros and thought, okay, so that's how VAR should be being used, right? Okay, and let a little bit more go, and don't be so picky at the offsides, and I don't know whether just thickening up the lines makes much of a difference in that. But they're still either in front of it. It's not as if like the defender's got a thicker line than the attacker. They're still the same thing. So, but it's good, and it is just being sensible, and that's all anybody wanted. You can take things to the letter of the law, that's fine, but at the same time, all I think fans and players and ex-players and all want is just a bit of common sense for how to interpret the game properly as to how it should be.
I wonder if there's a danger it'll go too far the other way. I mean, was it Grealish that went through for City on Sunday and literally got clipped? He literally got clipped. There was no question he got clipped. And bang, no pen.
There was a couple of instances in the in the Man United Leeds game where Dan James got hacked down from behind and the ref just played on, and I think partly that's Dan James's reputation slightly goes before him. But there were a few there where you're like, okay, right, that would have normally just been a free kick every day of the week, but yeah, I quite like it. It's just let's get the game flowing and get on with it. That's what it gets to the point where when you're playing 90 minutes of football and you're actually only seeing about 50 minutes of football with all the other nonsense that's going on, the fans are being cheated out of wanting to watching end-to-end football. And that's what fans want to watch. So
I mean, how could Graham Souness and Roy Keane have plied their trade in the Premier League last season? They couldn't have done it, could they?
I'd just say it's not even anything to do with the dark arts of fouling, is it? It just it was. I mean, mind you, in saying that, there are some players that managed to get away with it because they're a bit more subtle about it than the likes of Souness or Keane. But I'm thoroughly enjoying
Souness being subtle.
Thoroughly enjoying Roy Keane back doing a lot more punditry. It's his sense of humor and the way he comes across, it's very entertaining and good. I think it's good for the game that he's back doing a lot more. I don't know whether you caught some of the stuff he's done with Gary Neville, the some of the stuff on YouTube, the interviews, and he does a quick fire 50 questions whilst they're out walking the dog. Watch it. It is hilarious. Okay. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
He's got that Cork humor.
But thoroughly enjoying thoroughly enjoying what's it called? It's the new thing that Gary Neville's doing. Where he's just interviewing. He's not just football players he's doing. Obviously, it's where the Harry Kane interview first came from. The overlap. And he's obviously also interviewed Harry Maguire. But he's also interviewed Anthony Joshua and a few others along the way as well. It's really, really, really good. They did a fans forum before the start of the season, and watching Carragher having a bit of a spar with an Arsenal fan was hilarious. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah. No, we can't go there. Liverpool, very impressive. United, very impressive. Chelsea, very impressive. I guess the question is, are we moving from a period of there being a top six, if that thing was ever really a concept, to it being a top four?
I think so. I think it does have that feel about it. Whether that's just money talking, I'm not quite sure. It's, again, funnily enough, that same show I was talking about, Carragher made the comment of, wouldn't it be great if it wasn't a 2-horse race for a lot longer in the season? That's ultimately where it normally ends up with two. But wouldn't it be great if we could get a few weeks before the end of the season and then maybe 3 or 4 teams in that mix?
In fairness,
very rarely works out that way, but
it's a very rare occurrence. That,
however, there is. You look at the strength in the Man City squad and the Chelsea squad. You look at the strength in Liverpool's first 11 and United's first 11, and you could argue, if they can steer clear of injuries, potentially, it's a lot harder to slip up and create a gap. I know Liverpool fans have loved the mind the gap kind of comments on social media over the last few years, but I think there will be less of that gap. City went on a ridiculous run last season. That period where they
only finished with 80 something points.
No, but they put it to bed long before that because they went on a. Was it something like a 17 or an 18 winning streak? All competition.
That's been par for the course over the last 3 or 4 season league.
Yeah, but City had a poor start.
They lost a ton
to last season. Yeah, they had a poor start last season. Then went on a ridiculous run, and nobody else could catch that back. 2 seasons before that, the points scored by City and Liverpool were just ridiculous, unheard of in the Premier League era. I don't think we'll see a team win the league this season up in the high 90s or mid or high 90s. I don't think there'll be that many points for the winner.
It's an interesting one. I think I don't think 84, 85 will win it this year. I honestly think you'll need to be pretty damn close to 90, if not hit 90. And I think the key to all of this might be how these top four teams perform against each other, because I would expect all of these teams to be picking up by far and away the majority of points against the other teams in the league. They've just got that strength and depth now. But how they do against each other is going to be key, because not only for points on the board, but also for confidence, for belief that you're still in the race and all of that stuff. Because once that starts to go away, it's very easy to start dropping points then, because you just lose a bit of motivation. So the first one of those, I mean, I'm not counting City away at Spurs, but I think the first one of those is Liverpool at home to Chelsea in 2 weeks' time. I mean, that's obviously, that just feels like a big one. And United in October, I think you've just got a bunch of them. They've just got a bunch.
We go on a run. Yeah, we've got a cracking start to the season.
Yeah,
fixture wise, but we then hit a run where I think we play all the other three. Of the so-called.
Did you consider it a disappointment that they only got 5 against Leeds?
They kind of.
I mean, you got 6 last season, right? It's a step back.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of. Obviously, we slightly defended better by only conceding 1, and it was an absolute worldie to say the least. But it did feel very much that we, after the 5th goal went in, he brought Matic on, and then made 2 more substitutions and brought Sancho and Martial. Even the thought of me saying, we brought Sancho and Martial on, and it all fell about.
Yeah, well, Sancho, what's he ever done for United? What's he ever done?
I mean, So obviously it's great from that point of view, but it did feel very much at that point then, once those substitutions were made. Obviously, for United, they've our pre-season, we've had friendlies cancelled due to COVID. We've had players coming back late because they've had good runs in the Euros, as most clubs have. Not saying that it's an excuse or anything, whatever. But if we can put a bunch of wins together in these first sort of 6 games we've got, certainly the first 3 before the international break, and then allow those players to get up to properly up to fitness levels, then it'll put us in a good stead, I think, for the season.
There's a goal there. Coventry have just taken the lead against Blackpool right on the stroke of half time. And I was going to say, Lee, I mean, I'm sure what we're saying is entertaining, but nonetheless, I thought the entire of the championship just stopped to listen, because there's been nothing over the last 10-15 minutes.
It's obviously there's 6 of the games are 7:45 kickoff, so they are pretty much all just about on halftime whistles going now. Actually, it's just gone halftime in Blackpool Coventry game. It's halftime now in the Millwall Fulham game. We're on Fulham to score next.
Well, tell you what we're going to do, Lee,
against
right?
Millwall, but that's okay though. Halftime is fine. Halftime can be our friend sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, well, we're going to take a look at sort of the bets that we've got on at the moment. We'll just do a rundown just to see how those games are going. So from the top, why don't you tell me the first fixture that we're on, sir?
So we're on Preston to score next away to Huddersfield. It was 0-0 when we put the bet on, and it is obviously still 0-0 at the moment.
Look at that! Look at the period of pressure that Preston had in the run up to half time. Pretty deep. That's about as intense as it can get. But unfortunately, Preston have not broken through. But it is at halftime in that game now.
Preston have had the only shots on target. They've had 7 shots, 2 of them on target. They've had 3 block shots as well. So it's kind of but they've had less of the possession, funnily enough, 46%.
That's okay. It's you can have the possession just by passing it from centre back to centre back. But I like our chances there. Continue to like our chances. There is
4 shots inside the box, 3 shots outside the box. It's feeling like they're pressure. Hopefully, obviously, halftime hasn't scuppered that, and they'll come out second half doing the same thing.
We will see. Who's up next for us, Lee?
So next we still got in play is Fulham to score next away to Millwall. Fulham were 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up after 8 minutes. That one's now half-time as well.
They've also
look at that again.
The last 15 minutes in that game has been all Fulham. Even though they're 2-0 up, they've had 59% of the ball, 6 shots, only 2 on target, mind you, 2 in the net. But you'd have to say, again, we're feeling quite good about that bet. It is open. We will, I think, feel good about that in the second half. Who's up next, Lee?
Yeah, and then we jump to the Champions League game. So we've gone for the FC Sheriff, home to Dynamo Zagreb.
That's interesting. So
that was 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Zagreb have had more of it since we put that bet on. It's fair to say, but Sheriff have had periods still. The summary of what have we had? 35 minutes to date. Sheriff have had 5 shots, none on target, and Zagreb have had 4 equally.
Yeah, as I say, it's not a single shot on target yet for either side in that game.
Okay, so 34% of the play is in the Sheriff third, 25% in the Zagreb third. So it's feeling less certain, that one. But I think we knew that one was a little bit of a flyer. We're getting good odds.
Yeah, but we got on it at 2.3. Actually, Sheriff have now gone out to 2.5 to score the next goal. Zagreb a 2.2. At the moment as well. The trouble is that, as we just said, look at the stats there so far: 9 shots between the two sides, and not a single one on target yet. Yes, there is obviously, with these next score bets, always the possibility that there simply isn't a goal.
Oh yeah,
next.
Absolutely.
There is always that possibility. Yeah.
And I think, I've been doing this type of challenge. I quite like the next goal challenges. I've done it for a few years. Didn't do it last year because of the whole COVID. It was really hard to do it with the games all being played at separate times, of course. But I quite like the hobby of it. But the challenge is not to waste margin by putting too many late bets on, because of course if you bet on an X goal with 15-20 minutes to go, then yes, you're going to get great odds for it. But the reality is there's only 15 or 20 minutes to go, and very often your tenor will just sail off into the sunset and never to be seen again. What little pleasure it gave you in the 15 minutes that you had to bet on. Okay, so we've reached halftime in all of those championship games. Now, still some good betting action available to us. Let's have a quick look in on the Super Cup. So let me put this back up on screen again. So Bayern, of course, in the lead there. We've just started the second half. Let's have a look at the story of the first half. So Bayern just edging possession, but they have had 10 shots with 2 on target. Dortmund, who seem to be going quite well at a point, 4 shots with 3 on target. So Dortmund have had 1 more shot on target, but it would appear that Bayern are the more potent. They're certainly creating more shots. Of course, we're not watching the game. We don't know where those shots are raining in from. But Bayern apparently deservedly in the lead. If we look at the action areas in the first half, 33% in the Dortmund third, only 25% in the Bayern third. So, I mean, that seems a reasonable story of what the stats are saying likewise.
Yeah, the Bayern Munich goal was scored by one of their youngsters, up-and-coming player by the name of Lewandowski. Probably straight out there.
Never heard of him.
Possibly out of their academy, maybe. But having a bit of a run out in this Super Cup.
Well, look at his heat map. He's having he's all over the shop. Yeah. I think he was playing goal for Dortmund at one point.
He needs to work on his positioning play, I think, a little bit.
He just looks loose. We'll have to let him go. Cut him loose.
Interestingly, the odds on that game, obviously we've already had a bet on Borussia Dortmund to score first at 2.2. We got that on whilst it was 0-0, and unfortunately that one lost quite quickly for us. The odds haven't changed much, Des, to be honest. So Dortmund is still 2.25 to score the next goal.
What are Munich?
Bayern Munich are 2.
Oh, should we have a swing at Munich? 40
Do we think Munich to go 2-0 up?
Just the 10 shots. I mean, not a huge amount on target, but they're certainly spending more time in the Dortmund third. Should we try that? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get the Sky Bet app to work for us. I think I'm definitely going to abdicate this responsibility going forward. Here we go. So,
you fancy Munich at 2 then, yeah?
Well, what do you think? I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where you can, if you're not careful, you can unfortunately end up losing both bets on the same game.
It wouldn't be the first time. Would not be the first time. So the price has changed. Oh, we've dropped down to 1.91.
1.91 now, yes.
I'm less enthused now, because we're not going to double our money. It's not a 50-50. But it's still the right bet, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to go with the fact
Still,
that it's
not a bad price.
it is the right bet to do. And we're getting 1.91.
1.91. It's still 1.91 on Bayern Munich to score a goal. Yes, please. Okay, that is placed. Lee has put that in the book. So if we just have a quick look at the book.
So we're currently £32.50 down at the moment, but we have 4 bets in play. So so we're in a nice position at the moment.
Yeah, we're pretty calm. In my experience, tend to get through around 9 or 10 bets for these games. That's probably 1 or 2 bets too many. In my experience.
Well, as we found on Saturday, we there were a couple on Saturday which we did say afterwards were a little bit of the spur of the moment. Maybe the data wasn't completely telling us we should have gone for them,
but
I'm
not sure.
We did that.
I'm not.
Bayern Munich have just scored. Bayern have just scored.
Whoa! There we go. Fill me up, baby. Fill me up.
How about that?
We'll take that.
It's been no. I think it's been. Might have been. Oh no, you're good. No, it's no VAR. You're fine.
Jesus wept, son. What are you saying to me?
You're fine. It is 2-0. It's Leroy Sané has got the second goal for. And just as I say that, it's another little bit of profit. So that's a very quick turn. Well, actually, both of those our bets on that game have been a very, very quick turnaround.
That's the beauty of it. You can be talking about it and suddenly boom.
Unfortunately, the game means we're still 90 pence down on that game if we add the 2 bets together.
That's fine. That's fine.
But the question is now: do we want to look again?
We reinvest
because Bayern Munich are at 2 and Dortmund are at 2.2 to score next.
Well,
the question is,
I tell you what we do, Lee. I tell you what we do here. We give this 5 minutes, and we.
I was going to say, do we give it 5 and see what happens? Yeah.
We do. I think we do.
And we're only going to be about 5 minutes away from the second half starting in all the 7:45 kickoffs in the championship as well. So
Lee, right now, I'm going to put this up on screen, and I want you to see. I want to see if you see the thing I see.
What am I looking at here then?
You're looking at the odds for no further goal.
Oh, 6 for no more goals.
Oh, it's gone down to 5.5. Just drifted.
No chance. I can't believe that. There's another. I mean, there's another 40 minutes in that game yet.
Yeah, I know.
With that firepower on the pitch, and bear in mind, it's the Super Cup, but Munich are 2-0 up, and it's obviously the German version of the Community Shield, which is yes, you want to win it, but I get the feeling it'll be a fairly flowing game. It's all Bayern Munich so far in the second half in this game, and you only have to look at the number of shots. I mean, there's 6 shots on target now. There's only been 2 goals, 6 shots on target. It feels like it's quite an open game. I think there's still goals to come in that one.
Yeah, really so Bayern have had 3 shots in the second half. We're only 5 minutes in, less 1 on target. So certainly they are raining terror on. But of course, the point would be, at what point the Bayern Munich manager decides to withdraw some of his players, because of course it's only the second game of the season. Effectively, he's going to give them a rest. They got to play 60, and does that give Haaland then the chance to maybe catch them out? Let's see what Haaland is doing. So if we just drill into the player. As you can see his heat map, he is certainly getting around. He's played 52 minutes. He's had 1 shot on target, 1 attempt to dribble. He's had 20 touches. Not a lot of touches, but 20 touches so far. Accurate passes, 70. Well, we don't associate Haaland with passes. It feels like he's a little out of it, but you'd have to say, I mean, let's compare him to that young whippersnapper. What did you say his name was?
Lewandowski, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Oh, and Dortmund have scored. Oh no, it's obviously got chalked off again because it went 2-1 to Dortmund on the screen, and it's gone back.
I'm still showing 2-1.
You're still showing 2-1. It's gone back to 2-0 according to me, but it might be that it's 2-1. So just to refresh on that, yes, it has gone 2-1 live. Yeah.
Oh, it's gone back to 2-0.
Oh, it's obviously got it's obviously got disallowed then,
or your data might be half a second ahead of mine, in which case we need to align on data.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing it as 2-0 at the moment.
Oh, actually, it wasn't. That's weird. It wasn't actually Leroy Sané. That literally the same minute that that Bayern scored. They made a substitution and took Koeman off and brought Sané on. It was actually Thomas Muller that scored the goal. Yeah, as you're showing now. Yeah, you're seeing exactly the same as I'm. So I don't know whether they made the substitution before the goal or as soon as the goal went in. Not completely sure, but yes, it is still showing 2-0. So,
listen, we've got a half-time in the European games, Lee. Let's
goal in the Champions League.
Sheriff? Tell me it's Sheriff.
There's a new sheriff in town, according to that.
Do me. Come on. There we go. Boom. Yes, sir. Do me. Cash money.
We have got 2 bets in play, but Des, get to that schedule, my friend, because we've gone green. We've gone green.
We're up £9. We're up £9, Lee. We can eat tonight. Okay, we're not going to eat well. Right, it might be.
Bear in mind, on Saturday we turned 100 into 110, so 10%, profit. So we're nearly there already with 2 in play. So
it doesn't work like that.
No, if we didn't put another bet on,
we will.
We will. Don't worry, we will. But if we didn't, it's a good. But that's nice. I mean, that's 3-1 on the
3-1
on the winning bets at the moment. And again, you look at the odds on all of those. We're not. This is not absolute nailed on stuff here. This is using the data, using the trends of the match to look and see where we think there's opportunities. That's what it's all about.
Okay, let's go. Let's take a look at the other Champions League games. Let's go to Salzburg. Brøndby, the game is at halftime. Look at all of that Salzburg. Oh, you can't even say. I've got the wrong thing on screen. Look at all of that Salzburg pressure. They're a goal down.
Yeah.
So you're telling me here we're going to get terrible odds on Salzburg?
Yes, you got terrible odds on Salzburg before the game started.
Well, now at halftime.
And when Brøndby took the lead, the odds got even shorter. So they're 1.25 to score.
Well, that's easy money, isn't it? Come on, Lee. That's easy money.
Well, I think the value bet in this is can Brøndby see out the second half? No goal. No goal is at 5. Yeah, well, they have seen out. I mean, that's only 2 shots on target.
It's 8 shots. Only 76% possession.
Yeah, but it's only 2 shots on target. Brøndby have seen out the first half. I mean, they scored in the. It was quite early on in the 4th minute. They've seen out 41 minutes of the first half so far. Can they keep them out for the second half? Is the no more goals
does that help you? 9% of the game in the Brøndby third, 41%. 41%. I don't know that I've ever seen it that high. It's taking place out there.
I just don't feel 1.25 is any value whatsoever.
I agree completely.
Any value
I agree
whatsoever.
Completely. But I don't think betting on no goals is value either, even though it's a pretty return. It's a very pretty return.
So I think the reality of it is we will swerve it because it's not there for us to look at. Just to be aware, we've got 2 games in play at the moment, which we've still got running. Preston to score away to Huddersfield and Fulham to score the next one away to Millwall. Just so for anyone.
So we sort of really, Lee, we need to be getting about 3 bets on. So we learn to keep
I think we do
5 bets in play.
And bear in mind, so these championship games are just into the second halves now. So it's going to be interesting in the next 5 minutes. I think watching some of the stats if we go back through the championship games and decide where we think there's value, because there's some interesting score lines there, Des.
So how about before let's just finish off on our Champions League run up here, Lee. So they're still at halftime here. We're about to come back in the Championship, so we'll certainly be right there in a minute. Monaco, a goal down to Donetsk. But look at the second half of that first half, as it were.
Now Monaco is a better. Now Monaco's a better bet. 1.57 to score next.
Look at those shots. They've had 8 shots. Now only 2 on target, but they are prolific. Let's see where the play is taking place. So 37% of the play in the Donetsk third, only 22%. So that suggests to me, and obviously halftime can be a great leveler, but that suggests to me that Monaco more likely to score next in that game.
Yeah, 1.57. It's still not great odds. it's still not, up there, but yeah, it's you would think Monaco's second half.
Interesting. What are we getting on Donetsk in the second half? Because I would expect
4, which is exactly the same as the no more goals.
Where are you looking? I'm seeing 3.75 on my app, which it might be a slight updating thing.
I'm at half time, Des, so you're still 44 minutes on that app.
Okay, so we need to. That's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, well, I should wait. Obviously, I'm seeing this lively. You realise you're not half a second ahead of me here. It's just not possible.
Fives. Take the 5 on no score, definitely.
Do you reckon?
That's what I would do. Yeah. Whilst it's 5, because it'll go to 4 in a bit.
Let's grab that. Let's grab that. But we're saying, are we really going to put a tenner on no more?
No.
Come on, let's do it. It's that price change down to 4.
The show is called Next Goal Wins. How can we put a bet on that?
Absolutely. Totally legal. That totally legal.
Did you place it?
No, because the price went down to 4, didn't it?
There you go.
I had a bit of inside information on that. All right, so let's have a quick look at the betting market then. So Dortmund 2.5 now to score next. Bayern 2.1. I mean, you just reel off a tenner. Just keep shoving that tenner into the Bayern machine, and it'll keep spitting back £20 at you. Happy days.
But it'd be interesting to see what the stats are on that game now. Whether Dortmund have come back into it. I would think Dortmund probably have come back into it, because I can't believe they've been allowed to Bayern to go 2 up, and they're not putting a little bit of pressure on.
There you go. Indeed, showing a little bit of pressure. So what are we getting on Dortmund? Come on, Lee.
So Dortmund at 2.5. If we think Dortmund are going to get a goal back,
let's do it. Why wouldn't they get a goal back? They've got Haaland. Can you make some godly sort of music? There we go. They've got Haaland. A snap at 65 million next summer. He's coming to Liverpool. You heard it here first. Him and Mbappe. They're going to be playing in our under 23 side next year.
Are we fancying 2.5 then?
I think so.
And they'll get a.
It makes.
Going to get one back.
It makes sense. It does.
That's booked then, if it goes through.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
That's bet number 7 of the night.
So let's reacquaint ourselves with the championship games. So we have literally, we're back 5 minutes in some of those games. But let's start at the top. So Barnsley against Luton. There's a goal for Peterborough against Cardiff. So Barnsley against Luton. It's much of a muchness. Barnsley having a lot more of the ball. Interestingly enough, Luton having tons of shots. Let's see what the possession.
Now there is some value in these games. So Barnsley are currently at 2. Luton are at 3.25 to score next.
Well,
so there's a few of these games in the Championship which have only got a goal in it.
Then let's have a look.
There's some value. There is some value here.
34% of the game has been played in the Barnsley third. So Luton, despite the fact they're not having possession, where they are having possession, they're obviously being very direct. They're having the ball in the right place. They're getting shots away. Now, I've lost money betting on Luton, I have to say, and I feel like we'll lose money here. But if we're going to be true to ourselves and take the subjective human nature out and sort of lean a little more towards the data, I quite like the Luton Town story. I think they're going to just break away and hit Barnsley direct. I mean, that's the way this is going. Do we think?
Quite possibly. So what's in the second half? Where do we? I think what we need to do is let's work our way through. If we work our way through the Championship games, and then we'll just have a look back that once 5 more minutes has gone, just to see whether actually the second half is looking that way.
Blackpool and Coventry. Coventry goal up. Coventry would appear to have had the majority of the pressure. Stats-wise, Coventry have had 57% of the ball. 14 shots. 14!
You ready? Are you ready for this?
Only 4 on target. Go on.
Coventry 2.25.
All right. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
You look at those stats and think, why would you not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Coventry double their lead? Yeah.
Well, I think it makes sense to get that one on while the going is good. 2.2 I'm seeing. Obviously, it'll correct. If I'm half a second out, it corrects to 2.25. It does. Accept price change. Yes, please. More value. And there's a goal. It's Peterborough against Cardiff. They've gone 2 up. 51st minute. And there is a goal for Stoke against Swansea.
Actually, I've had a feeling that the Championship was going to kick on here.
Okay, right. Let's just go back into the games.
So I'm hoping you can tell me something interesting about Huddersfield versus Preston. Please tell me something interesting.
There's been a goal in the Dortmund-Munich game, and it's a goal for Dortmund.
Boom!
Fill me up, baby! Woo!
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
That's what it's all about. Dortmund have scored. It's Marco Reus. Rolls-Royce.
Got two,
Thank you very much.
2 at the weekend. 2 at the weekend, and bags another one tonight.
It's only a question of who we put our next tenner on in that game.
We're now 2-1 up as far as bets on that game go. So that's now turned itself into a nice, profitable game now. I think that game has now earned us £14 and 10 pence. In fact, actually, that is our running profit now at the moment. Actually, so it's basically come from that game.
Pleasingly, despite going 1-0 down on the bets front, we're now 4-1 up. So we're reasserting ourselves, Mr. Wilshire. So who do we have up next? Let's have a look at Huddersfield.
Well, we were just busy looking at Huddersfield Preston. There's actually decent odds on both of these teams. So if we can find anything in the stats that suggest that one of them's going to be a winner here, you can get 2.75 on either of them.
Well, they've shared the pressure, but it has to be said the bigger pressure has come out of Preston, and they're currently exerting pressure. If we look at the stats, overall, Huddersfield have had more of the ball. They've had 6 shots, none on target. Preston have had 7 shots, 2 on target. If we take a look at the second, so again, Huddersfield have had slightly more of it. They've had 2 shots. Preston have not shown anything in the second half thus far.
I mean, the smart money is going on there not being a goal scorer at 2.5. But I think 2.75. If we could flip a coin and decide which one we think is likely to find a winner here somewhere in this game. Bear in mind, there's still another 40 minutes of this game to go. But it does feel like a coin flip as to which one of them is going to do it at the moment. Maybe it's worth again just keeping an eye on that one in the next 5-10 minutes. That 2.75 is not going to go down, I don't think.
Yeah, the issue is what will go down is the time remaining. So we're going to put on as few bets as we can do, leaning later into the game. But
I'm just very aware we've got 8 on at the moment. So
we haven't got 8 live, have we? How many live do we have?
We haven't got 8 live. We've got 3 live at the moment.
Okay, so we need another 2 on quickly.
We want to get another couple on, I think, to have a look at this.
So
we've already got Fulham to score next against Millwall. That's still in running live for us. We had that at 2.1.
To be honest, if you look at the second half there, Fulham have picked up exactly where they were.
Yeah.
So
even if we wanted to put that bet on now, it would only be 2.38. So actually, we're not getting a huge less value from putting that on. And we put that on early on. They were 2-0 up after 8 minutes. So
we've got the Posh against Cardiff. Peterborough 2-0 up. And exerting a little bit of pressure in the second half. The story of the game so far: Peterborough 67%, 5 shots to a target. Who are they playing? Peterborough
playing Cardiff.
Okay.
So Peterborough scored 2 quick-fire goals in the second half, which they scored in the 49th and 51st minute, literally back to back. The odds on either of them, I mean, if Peterborough are 2.88, Cardiff are 2.63. Again, there's value there. If we think there's going to be a goal.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I'd quite like Cardiff to score there, but I don't see anything in the data that suggests that they're deserving of the bet. Peterborough, just based on those green bars, are more deserving of the bet. The question is,
what's the shots? What's the
up,
shots on? What's the shots on target for Peterborough?
2 in the second half.
Throughout
the game, it's just 2 throughout the game. It's 2-0.
So they've scored from both their shots on target.
Yeah.
In the second half, as you say, is it a case of they're 2-0 up and we'll see this out?
Yeah, it looks like they're counter-attacking. So they've had one big chance. They've had 2 counter-attacks. I mean, they're leading on pretty much all of the metrics. 17 long balls. Cardiff have only had 9 long balls.
I mean, they've gone to 3. They can't. Peterborough have gone to 3 now to score. They've gone to 3.25. Wow, that's gone dramatically from 2.8 to 3.25.
Let's have a crack.
Well, I don't know. Has it gone to that because have they subbed a striker or something or done something? Is that what it is? I mean, we just need to check. We just need to check on that because
I'm not seeing any change in the game yet.
That seems most bizarre that it's jumped to 3.25, but it is at 3.25 now.
No, don't see anything currently.
Okay. Well, in which case I suggest, say, if we were going to take it at 2.8, then we're certainly going to take it at 3.25, aren't we?
I think let's have a piece of that.
Which is what you're seeing as well. Yeah.
Right, 10 is on. Let's get it in the book. Okay, so I'm going to start this a little late, but that's okay. This is our second half countdown in the Champions League games. How pleasing! Look at that. We're positive money in the account even now. So
yeah. So we got four in play. So we've got 4 in play at the moment. So we've
Swansea and Stoke. Lee, we're not on either of those. Let's have a look. So, this is interesting. Swansea looking to have a little more of it in the second half. Stoke, of course, 2 goals up. Let's have a look at the second half stats. So Swansea have had 68% of the possession. They've had 2 shots, 1 on target. Stoke have had 1 shot on target. Swansea have had a corner kick. The shot was from outside of the box. It has to be said, Stoke have had 1 big chance in the second half. 76 passes, Swansea, 36 to Stoke. I just wonder, I mean, this feels to me as if Swansea are now pushing on. They've been given a half-time mandate to get this back.
Markets just got suspended. So we'll just have to hang on for a second to see whether it's a 3rd goal for Stoke.
Wow.
And luckily I was just about to say the actual value there was Swansea at 3. Stoke were at 2.78, I think. Before that went in.
We'd have had a piece of that, no question. So you got to get lucky here, guys. The one question mark was that big chance that Stoke had missed in the second half. So clearly, still an attacking.
Question's going to be now is once this market comes back into play, what are Swansea going to be at, and do we think there's a possibility? Looking at that second half there, do we think that actually Swansea have got something in them to try and get a goal back here? That'll be the interesting one. They're at 3.25.
Swansea
as the markets come back in. Yeah.
Well, is this a good time to sort of say, look, we got a little bit lucky. However, our reasoning was reasonably sound, and 3.25, we're 63 minutes in. So we've got about 30 minutes left in these games now. Let's get, if we're going to have a pop on them, let's do it with 30 minutes to go.
Yep.
How did they do in their first game, Lee?
It's just gone back down to 3. So,
okay, let's have a look.
This is where sometimes you've got to be quick off the mark to get these in.
So Swansea,
Swansea drew 0-0 at home at the
Sheffield
weekend
United
against Sheffield United. I don't think they. Let's just have a look and see what the stats were like on that. They had 1 shot on target the whole game. 63% of the possession they had on the weekend, but they only had 1 goal on target, 1 shot on target.
So I'm getting 3.25 at the moment. That price may change.
But I'm not. I mean, the trouble. This is the problem. Is I'm feeling with Swansea. They had 1 on the weekend. You're not feeling like they're doing very much. Maybe the 3.25 is that for a reason. But
do you think is it unlikely for a championship team to go 2 games? without a goal. I mean, they're going to convert one.
Two home games without a goal potentially. Have they had a shot on target tonight so far? Let's have a look.
Yeah. So the stats are 3 shots, 1 on target.
Yeah, so that's their usual. That's pretty much what they did on the week. And actually, if you look at that possession, Des, that's exactly the possession they had against Sheffield United at the weekend at home. Pretty much two-thirds of the possession.
Stoke are 3-0 up, and 30% of the game has been played in the Swansea third. 27% has been played in the Stoke third. So Swansea aren't that far off of it. They might need to get lucky here, and maybe we don't want to be betting luck. As there's another goal in the cash register game, Dortmund are now 3-1 down.
Would we have gone on Bayern? I'm not sure what we would have done if we'd have actually gone again. But look at that.
Young chap, don't know his name, but he's just
look at that pressure map.
Yeah,
all Dortmund, and then they go bang, stick one in. Yeah.
As a team like Munich just need one chance, right? They're that prolific.
There's about 15, 20 minutes left in that game. So.
Well, I think we're done there, right? We're not going to get more action on that one. I mean,
I'm not convinced on this Swansea bet, Des.
Okay,
I'm really not.
Let's bin it.
I'm not. I don't know. Something says to me they
steer clear.
They're 3-0 down, 65 minutes into the game. They had one shot on target all game, not failing it. However, Reading Bristol City, now that's a different subject altogether.
So 2-1 to Bristol City at the moment, right? We can see that Reading getting a little more pressure towards the end of the first half. So we've got the stats. So interesting, Reading have had 66% of it, only 2 shots, 1 on target, 4 shots for Bristol, 3 on target. The action areas, only 22% of the play in the Bristol third, 34% in the other third. So what are you liking here, Lee? Reading?
Well, so Reading are 2.2.
Yeah.
Bristol City are 3.25. That's just gone to 3. So there's value again on there's value and arguments for both of them. You kind of feel that Reading are going to apply the pressure being a goal down, and the home team. And so, I mean, I think it's gone to 2.2 now for Reading, but I think the 2.2 for Reading is not a bad bet.
Look where the action areas are. So 34% of the game has been played in the Reading third versus 22% in the Bristol third. Unless that's Chase. If we look at the second half, does that change?
But the trouble is that was the 8:00 kickoff, so it's only just kicked off in the second half. They're only about three or four minutes into that second half. So it might be one where I think we just need to monitor that for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then that could be the game that we put the 10th bet on. Not that we stick to 10 bets. We can sometimes do more, but we kind of aim for 10 in a session.
So let's have a look at the Champions League then. So 52 minutes on the clock there. Salzburg and Brøndby. Salzburg, we were fancying. We just wanted to have another look at this. The second half has started off on a similar vein. It's all Salzburg. We're not getting odds. What is the latest situation with this? I mean, these odds should start to grow.
Salzburg are 1.3. I mean, I think if you're wanting to put a bet on Salzburg to score next, it's better off letting it hang on and seeing if they can get a late equalizer where the odds will be significantly better. 1.3 is still not great value.
Let's keep an eye on that. Let's go to Monaco. Shakhtar cashed us. And it's Monaco that have in fact started the second half a little more strongly. Where are we here?
1.62 on Monaco at the moment to score the next goal. Shakhtar at 4.5. They were at 4 at half time, so that's gone out a little bit.
37% of the game being played in the Shakhtar third. 10 shots from Monaco. Only 3 on target, but 10 shots. Got to like Monaco here. What are we getting? 1.6, did you say?
1.62, yeah.
It's not great, is it? It's not great for a second.
No, it's not. It really isn't at the moment, because the second half bets you would expect to see the odds could be creeping up, and I certainly don't think 1.62 at the moment is anything to to be wanting to lump on with at the moment.
But one assumes it represents fair likelihood, of a team to score. So Monaco at this stage in the game are fancied at that level to score. They're pretty strong favourites, it would have to be said.
Yeah, they're the home team. They're 1-0 down. I mean, I guess these are the first legs, aren't they, of this of these qualifiers? I mean, the reality is what Monaco can't afford to happen is to go, is to concede 2 away goals.
Yeah,
that makes a massive difference. I'm assuming the away goals still count, or do they not count now in the qualifiers as well? Because they're not counting
sure.
they're not counting in the knockout stages, are they, anymore?
I'm not sure, but I would have thought the thought of losing at home is a far bigger fear factor than being 2 down at home. So I would have thought Monaco going to have to chase this game.
But again, if we're looking like we want to, we don't particularly want to put any bets on after, certainly as we kind of get into the final quarter of the game. So we've got about another 10 minutes whereby I just feel at 1.62 is not.
Oh, there's a goal.
Is not great. As I say, there's going to be a goal that the Sheriff has done the business again. Already paid us out at 2.3 earlier on this session, and has now doubled their lead by the looks of it.
Okay, so Monaco, yay, nay?
I don't think at 1.62 does. I'm not feeling it at 1.62.
So Sheriff have gone 2 up. They've just scored. Seemed to be a sort of quite a piecering sort of start to the second half, 53 minutes in there. But they have added the second. I mean, we're not going to be putting money on there. I wouldn't have thought at this particular point. There's just confirmation of that goal coming through. Red Star against Cluj. Red Star 2 up. As there's a goal, Bristol City have
got a third against Reading. And that was one of the games we were talking about, wasn't it? And said it's very early in the second half. Let's just see. I think we probably would have bet on Reading if we were going to go for it there. And we just said, well, let's just leave it another 5-10 minutes and get an understanding of where the game is. And that's another reason why you do that.
Right. Yeah.
You don't betting in the first 5 minutes of a second half based on the stats. Halftime makes a difference in these games.
Indeed. Let's go back into the Championship League. So Barnsley, Luton leading by a goal. Barnsley looking to have had more of it in the second half. Let's see if we can add numbers to that. So in the second, Barnsley have had 73%. They've only had 1 shot, same as Luton, nothing on target. So certainly Barnsley have the ball, but no real semblance of a goal.
So you've got 25 minutes plus added time left in that game. Barnsley are 2.63 to score the next goal. They're the home team. They're 1-0 down, chasing the game. They've got all the possession, but they are doing nothing with it at the moment.
I mean, a goal could well come from that pressure, but there's nothing in the data at the moment that suggests 1 shot in 65 minutes is going to produce a goal in the last 25 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, very similar to the Swansea game that we were talking about. Yeah.
Blackpool Coventry a bit swingy, so this certainly looks like there's some intense action happening, but it's happening all over the place. Arguably, Blackpool Coventry have had a little bit more of it.
Yeah, and obviously we're on Coventry, so that's one of our live. That's one of our live bets. They're now currently 2.75. We booked that bet at 2.3, so it's gone out a little bit, as you would expect to see as these games start going towards the end of the second half.
So when I hit a fixture, if we're currently on it, you just shout, and we won't even analyze it, unless we want to just see how our bet is doing. Huddersfield and Preston.
The big money is on there not being a goal. It's unless the stats can tell you anything different. Preston, score is 1.67.
Preston have had another period of pressure. In the second half, stats-wise, come on, app, there we go. So Preston have had 58% of the ball. They've had 1 shot. Huddersfield have had 2 shots, no shots on target. And you're saying we're getting what odds for no goals?
1.67 for no goals. You can have 3.5 on Preston, or you can have 4 on Huddersfield. That has 0-0 written all over it. But but I'm not even sure at 1.6. It's now 1.62 on there being no score. I'm not even sure at 1.62 you're getting a huge amount of value there.
And there's a goal. It's a goal for Salzburg. 1.2 or whatever the hell it was, 1.3. So Salzburg have scored. We weren't on it, and we're quite right not to be on it. Look at this, Lee. Look at the pressure in the Huddersfield third. 37% of the game is being played there. I used to say, I mean, why not have a little bit of a ding on Preston to nick a goal late on in this game?
Yeah, I mean, there's 20 minutes left in the game. Preston are 3.75 to score next.
Yeah, and look at that pressure they've had. It's almost like they take a little breather, and then they have an intense period, have another little breather.
Yeah, I mean, at 3.75 with 20 minutes to go.
Let's have a look. Preston.
I mean, Preston lost 2-1 away to Reading at the weekend. They did equalise with a penalty, but and to be fair, they did have Preston dominated that game. They had 13 shots, 5 on target, compared to Reading's 12 shots and 2 on target. So
goal for
Swansea. They have got goals in them, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, ultimately, the second half bets are always going to be a little bit speculative. It's not an absolute science, but as long as you're confident in your justification, doesn't mean that it will work. And of course, none of these bets are safe, and you should only ever bet with what you can afford to lose, guys. That bit's pretty darn important. But there's a nice feeling of some value, and we've given them enough time to nick that goal if they are going to do so. So let's have a look at the book, Lee. Where are we at the moment? How many bets do we have live at the moment?
Oh, we've got 5 live now at the moment. So
okay.
We've still got. We're now on. We've had the Preston to at 2.25, and I hadn't even realised actually, Des, but we've just doubled down on Preston. I didn't realise that one was actually.
We haven't bet Preston twice, have we?
Yeah, so we have. So schoolboy error on our part. But, We'll be very happy if Preston can now nick a goal. That's for sure. We've still got Fulham. Fulham went 2-0 up after 8 minutes, and we're still on Fulham to sneak a third.
So let's just have a quick look there, Lee. So I'm just going to put this on screen so that we can have a look. So Fulham have had much of the second half here. We're still liking our chances. Little bit of Millwall action in there, but not very much. We're liking this one, Lee. So who do we have next? Still.
So we've then got Coventry to score at Blackpool. They were already 1-0 up.
So they haven't had as much of it in the second half. It's a classic example of the game changing, it would appear, in the second half. If we look at our stats, if we look at the second half, Coventry have had 49% of it. They have had 6 shots, only 1 on target, but that suggests they are still potent, and that bet feels very much still live. Who do we have next?
Yeah, so we've got Peterborough at home to Cardiff, already 2-0 up, scored 2 quickfire goals early in the second half, and looking for them to add a third.
Yeah, again, it's certainly not going to be a big margin here. Peterborough slightly less than the ball. They have had 3 shots, 2 on target, and their opponents have not had a shot on target yet. So again, that feels good. It feels solid. It feels alive. Next up, we've got 14 bets,
and then finally it's our double up on Preston. So
okay, so. So against Huddersfield. So, I mean, ultimately, that's going to be our entertainment for the next 20 minutes. 73 minutes gone in that game. That's the one that we're going to be looking at.
Come on, Preston. The market suspended in Huddersfield, Preston. Just confirm. I don't know whether that sometimes means a goal. Sometimes it means a goal. Sometimes it doesn't mean a goal. Sometimes it can just be a booking, or it's 1-0 Huddersfield. Oh dear!
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh dear! Oh dear!
There it is. Confirmation of the score. Some you win, some you lose. Some you win, some you lose. Some you win, some you lose twice. I've got a 4-3. Yeah. It's got a 4-3. How did that happen?
So we've got three in running now. We're currently running at a small loss of £5.90 with three bets in play. So
listen, we finished 10% up on match day one. To be honest, with 15-20 minutes to go, with 2 bets live, that would have taken us to 50+% up on match day one. So you need a bit of luck. You need those bets to come in. They're currently shown as a cost in our book, but the profit will explode us into a very decent evening's performance if we can see them through. So, 89th minute in the Dortmund Munich game. Lee, fancy a late swipe on one of them?
I'm not sure whether you do. Dortmund are at 8 and Bayern Munich are at 6, but it kind of feels at 3-1 to Bayern Munich. It's petering out thanks very much, pick up the trophy and move on to the weekend's games, really, isn't it?
Right. So, I suspect we're looking for at max 1. What is the game that looks like that's the game that maybe we're not currently on? That game.
Yeah,
that's the one we've got to fight.
Quite possibly. So, I mean, it's an interesting one. You've got Swansea have pulled one back against Stoke. That's got about another 15 minutes to go in that one. Both of those teams are at 4.5 to score again. You'd like to think that Swansea will keep applying the pressure, but it depends what the second half chart looks like. Des, as to whether we think
Swansea
that's
have had 5 shots, 2 on target, but Stoke have had 6 shots, 3 on target.
But bear in mind, Stoke have scored twice in those. So 2 of those 3 shots on target were goals up to the 60th minute. So in the last 20 minutes, they've not really done a huge amount. And since then, obviously Swansea have pulled one back in the 73rd minute. We're now in the 79th minute.
What odds are we getting on Swansea?
We're getting 5 on Swansea and 4.5 on Stoke.
Let's do Swansea.
So whether we think the home team can nick another one.
Yeah. Well, just based on the last 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. They're the ones that are applying the pressure, and they've scored one. They're not going to be happy with one. They're now, they nick another one, then all of a sudden it's game on, isn't it?
So we've got to take a swing. It's not a science, but
I think so.
The potential return is great. The cost is obviously a tenner. That is like 4 toilet rolls in my better half's weekly shop.
You got to look at it.
You can never have enough toilet roll, Lee. Right, so we are in fact on Swansea at 5. Sky Bet they're just rubbing their hands with glee. They're saying, hold on, who are these 2 lads and what the hell do they know? I've never heard of some of these teams they're betting on.
Clearly not enough. That's the problem.
Right, so Lee, I'm going to write this down now because I think we have a big finish in store. So we're on Swansea at 5. Come on, the Swans. Tell me, who else are we on?
So we're already on Coventry against Blackpool, but I just feel we should be looking back at this Huddersfield-Preston game. There's so Huddersfield. We went all out on Preston, and they and then Huddersfield went and scored.
Yeah.
Huddersfield are at 5.5. Preston are at 4.5. We said it had 0-0 written all over it. So the question is whether Huddersfield are going to hang on to the to the 1-0, or whether there's going to be another goal in that game. And if so, we're getting good value if we can pick the right side of the coin again.
But if you have to ask yourself that question, if we can pick the right side of the coin, that means it's not a great bet. It means it's great odds.
I need to look at the stats and see if we can see.
The reality is, we liked Preston a few minutes ago. We liked them a lot.
We still like. If you look at the second half, after Huddersfield scored, it's all been Preston again. Not huge, not.
So let's have a swing.
But it still is. but it is still Preston, looking to find an equaliser here.
In the second half, they've had 8 shots, 2 on target. Now, interestingly, Huddersfield have had no shots and they've scored a goal. I want a recount.
Goes to show, doesn't it?
I want VAR. I want the VAR down there. I don't think they scored. Happy to have a swing, but obviously we are talking margin now. But Preston have had a ton of it.
Yeah, I mean, so basically Huddersfield scored. It was an own goal. So technically Preston did score. So I don't know whether we can have a word and see. Can we VAR that? Is there a way we can do that? So
so we're getting 4.5 on Preston. I mean, it's gone up to 5. Let's have a little tickle on. Oh, there's only 11 minutes left though.
Yeah, there's not long left now in these 7:45 games. That's the only problem with them.
I'll tell you what. Look,
Preston
are going to chase the raggy arse off of this last 10, 11, 12 minutes in this game. I'm tempted to have a go.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You're in.
I'm in for it. I think.
Okay. There we go, guys. So we've got a tenner on Preston. Preston remarkably at 5. We've got Coventry. So we've got Swansea, Coventry, Preston. I'm not touching Sky Bet anymore, right? That's it for the evening. What else have we got, Young Lee? So Swansea. We've got Peterborough at 3 points.
And Cardiff have just scored against Peterborough.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's 2-1 now, so that one's gone.
We're back to 4-4, folks. 4-4.
Oh dear. We've just had a horrible run of
that's okay.
Of games that have just gone a little bit against us, but that can happen.
Yeah, it is absolutely not a science.
Can happen.
We have how many open bets, Young Lee?
So we've now got 4 open bets.
Okay.
So we're on
Swansea,
Fulham.
Coventry.
We're on Fulham, Coventry, Swansea, and Preston.
So what odds are we getting on Fulham?
Fulham was early doors. It's 2.1. We're on Fulham at
2.1. Okay. Now we calm down and we call these 4 bets in, because right now a 4-4 with 10 minutes to go could easily become a 4-8. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of a 4-8.
Not keen on that at all.
Right. So we're 25 in the red. But in reality, that's with the cost of those 4 bets taken into account.
Yeah.
We only need 2 of those bets to come in. If we finish 2-2, we'll be quids in on the night.
Yeah.
So we sort of need 2 of them to come in.
That's what we've got to hope for, and see if they do. I'm amazed at that Millwall Fulham game. Fulham went 2-0 up after 8 minutes, and then
for the goals,
nothing at all.
Well, let us start there, Lee. Let's start there. So, where are we, guys? Millwall Fulham. Let's click in. Well, the good news, Lee, if I put this back on screen, is that Fulham are not giving up, right? They haven't banked it. There's still a fair chunk of pressure going on.
The game has been mostly Fulham, isn't it? Pretty much.
In the second half,
they've
had 10 shots, 4 on target. So I'm still take this one as a reasonable bet. Right.
You do kind of think, makes you wonder how Fulham haven't stuck a third in there, really.
I agree. Let's go to Swansea and Stoke. So we're on Swansea. And, it's not intense pressure. We've only got a few minutes left. But
it's all Swansea there, isn't it?
It is all Swansea. So, fine. Let's go to Coventry. And unfortunately, they seem to be a little under the cosh from Blackpool in the last 10, 15 minutes of this game. So, feeling less confident about that one, but who knows? And lastly, but not leastly, let's take a look at our big swing, which is Preston. Well, we've had a little bit of Huddersfield pressure in the last minute or two. We've got 6 minutes plus added time there. Ultimately, if we deliver this game, if we deliver a goal in this game, that's 50 quid, right? That's going to just smash us straight into profit, big profit on the night. So, this is the one to keep an eye on, I suspect.
Yeah, well, it's the same with the Swansea one, isn't it? So if Swansea or Preston, if either of those can nick a late goal, that's gonna do us quite nicely.
So they're in the 90th minute at Swansea. So that one is obviously running tight. Let's just focus in on that one for the remainder of it. We haven't had the added time amount up yet, but we're going to make the assumption we're going to have at least 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's normally the way. Yeah.
But, as we said, Swansea having the majority of it, albeit it's not intense.
Oh, goodness me. Millwall have pulled one back against Fulham. Dear, oh dear. Oh.
Have we ever had a series only go for 2 episodes?
Goodness me. I mean, just bring up that Millwall Fulham pressure map because that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Goodness me. I mean, Fulham 2 up after 8 minutes and absolutely dominated the game, and all of a sudden now, they're it's 2-1 and probably feeling a little bit nervy of the last 5 minutes or so.
Absolutely, Benicophobe with that goal back for the mighty Millwall. Well, that's just one of those things. That is just one of those things. So, Preston Swansea, come on, guys. That's where we need to see a goal. Now, Swansea, of course, are into added time. We still don't have a confirmation of how much, but they're in the 2nd minute of added time now, Lee. Does feel like it's petering.
Yeah, it's going to be, especially at 3-1. You get to the point where you go, you're not going to pull 2 goals back, so both sides then just kind of see it out. But it has been all Swansea for the last 20 odd minutes or so.
And that's the beauty of this. I always think that if you're on the wrong side of a bet, providing you used a certain amount of common sense in putting the bet on, then you just have to accept that bets you win and bets you lose. And
completely.
To win big bets, at decent odds. That means a favourite somewhere is just going to slip up. So it doesn't seem to be working out for us in a couple of these games tonight, but that's okay. That's life. That's why we only put 10% of our bankroll on a bet at any one time.
Yeah, that's the way it works. You can't always. I mean, I guess the idea is if you can be, if you're putting sort of 10 bets on a session, if you can be winning, 6-4 or 7-3 or winning bets, then that's going to see you nice. But it doesn't always work out that way, and it feels tonight it's just we've just kind of slightly had the wrong side of it, but we've it's been logical with the reasonings and why we put them on. We've certainly not punted on anything here. Even the Swansea and Preston late bets here at 5 each one, been done with a certain amount of logic as to what we're expecting and what we're seeing in the game and what the stats are showing.
So we're in the 88th minute in the Preston game. Let's just go back to Swansea. Let's have a look. Where are you, Swansea? There we go. Swansea Stoke. Well, it continues to play. I'm still seeing no added time readout. I suspect we're not going to get one now, but we are in the 4th minute of added time there. So unless there were some chunky injuries, that one is going to be done and dusted. But we will hold on. This is the exciting bit, right? This is the end of some of the fixtures. This is where it gets it can get really, really intense.
Yeah, so we're still on Coventry, Swansea and Preston.
Now, Coventry were not enjoying the best of the last 20-odd minutes in their game, so it feels like a little bit of a long shot that we might nick one there. Preston, we've looked at. Swansea. Yeah, Swansea, we're deep in. We're about to hit the 5th minute. Interestingly, Swansea having a slightly increasing pressure in that game.
Yeah, I mean it's all been Swansea for the last 20 odd minutes. They scored they pulled one back on the 73rd minute, and it's pretty much been all Swansea since. I don't know whether they've had many more chances. Yeah, see they've had 3 shots on target in that second half, but just haven't been able to get that second one back. And it's looking, as you say, very unlikely as we're in the 5th minute of added on time there now. It's feeling unlikely. Whereas some of the other games have only just gone into added time. So but doesn't feel it. Not a huge amount of movement in those Champions League games we were watching earlier on. Salzburg have equalised, but they're now in the 80th minute.
What
it's
odds,
still 1-1 in that one.
What odds on Salzburg to nick a winner?
Let's have a look. It's still really low. It's still just 2. 10 minutes to go, and it's still just 2.
Let's put the rest of the bankroll on it. Let's get it all on, Lee. All of it.
It's not. It's just not. There's just no value there in Salzburg. They were such odds-on favourite to do it.
When the fun stops. I think we're too fun, Lee. I'll have to say. Okay. It's all very quiet. It's all very quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, a couple of these games now going in. Always when on these markets when the when they get suspended at this time, it's normally because it's into the last minute or so of added on time in some of these. So we'll start seeing the amazingly, according to the this Swansea Stoke game is now into the 7th minute of added on time. Which is extraordinary, really.
Well, bless them, the Swans. They've given it a shot for us, if nothing else.
Can't believe there's very long left in that.
I use the word...
yeah, we're getting value. That is...
yeah, I use the word shot with a certain degree of irony.
Yes, yeah. That seems to be the way it's gone. But yeah, that...
Maybe that was just going to keep going until somebody scores. Oh, Coventry. It's got to be done in Coventry, surely. No, they're still going as well. They're in the 3rd minute of added time. They've got 5 minutes of added time, so we've got a whole 2 minutes to go there. Unfortunately, all of the play is heading towards our goal. Have you frozen, Lee? Are you still there? Have you given up? Hey there. Are you back?
I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
I thought it looked like you had a voyage into the Ethernet.
Oh, it was still showing me in the studio, but not nobody else.
So you thought I went, and I thought you went. Well,
yeah.
It'd be interesting to look at the tape on that one, because we've never really answered that question.
No, it is a weird one to say
there's
the
a
least.
Goal. It's not for anybody we like. It's in the Sheriff game. Sheriff go 3 up.
Wow. I don't think they were favourites to win that game.
No, they weren't.
I don't think they were. No.
We're not. So we've had 9 results. Is that right, Lee? Am I right in our scoreboard there? It's 4-5.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we've got 3 still in play of the 12 that we've had on. I'm pretty sure. Surely this Swansea Stoke game must be over by now. I can't believe they're still.
So let's go live to Swansea.
It's still showing that it's. Are you seeing kind of like 90 plus 8 minutes?
I'm hearing air raid shelters from the 1940s.
Cardiff have equalised at Peterborough. They were 2-0 down, and they have equalised. Wow. We picked the wrong side to sneak a late goal. I think we didn't really talk about Cardiff managing to do it. Yeah, it's ended Fulham. Fulham Millwall has ended 2-1 to Fulham. That was done, but this Swansea game is still going on. This is where you do get these late goals. they do come about. But I think that Swansea Stoke game is finished because it's actually gone off the market. So I just got a funny feeling it's still showing as playing, but I don't think it actually is.
Well, as long as it's still there, we will continue to show it. We're gone to 4-6, so.
And yes, it's the Preston game is has ended as well, and Reading have pulled another one back at home to Bristol City. we so have just picked the wrong teams to get goals back here, isn't it? Really, unfortunately.
That's football, lad. That is football.
It happens, yeah.
But it shows you though, goals come late, right? Goals come late, so it is possible. It's just about being brave enough to pick them and then picking the right ones, obviously. Okay, so Preston are gone. Swansea, well,
I'm pretty sure that Swansea game has now finished, even though the stats site is still showing it as being played. But it's yeah, and there it goes. It's now just gone, which means the only one left we've got is Coventry away to Blackpool, which has been mostly Blackpool for this second half. To be honest, Coventry haven't really had a look in for the last 15 minutes. By the look at that, and that has just gone full time as well. A horrible run out for us there in the second half.
We got mullered in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Torn to shreds in the second half. We didn't start well. We got the first Borussia Dortmund Bayern Munich scorers the wrong way round, but then we actually, that game did us proud at that point. But boy, oh boy, did we then just get absolutely mullered in the second half. There's no other way to describe it, is it really?
That happens, right? That happens. So let's just reconfirm. I'm going to put the book up on screen, Lee. So can you tell me how many bets we had?
So we ended up with 12 bets in total.
Okay. So I've got 4 winners, which of course would lead to 8 defeats, 8 losses.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Perfect. And you're saying we're down net 25 on the evening. So if I go to our bet account, let me come back here. I'll just put this up on screen. And if I just refresh that, then I'm showing 84.70. That sounds absolutely right. We started at 110.
Yep.
So we're now down to 84.70 on our £100 challenge. So we're 16 down. We've actually taken a backward step tonight. Now, here's why I'm going to tell you that that's not all bad news. And that is that some of the key information, right, that you need for this, you can go on data all day long, but you also need to know the teams. You need to know the players. You need to know the background and sort of as much information as you can do as is possible. Of course, tonight we're focusing in on the championship games. Effectively, I don't know about you, but that isn't where my knowledge base is. So we've largely relied on data tonight, had a bit of fun with it. That's fine. I think I did say to you before we went on air that this was likely to be a tough night for that reason. I'd fancy us more, in a Premier League where we're much more knowledgeable about the bigger picture of what's going on. But we were able to do some new things technically. That's good. That all worked fine, I think.
But Des, we could make it all back. There's 6 minutes to go in the Reading game. They're only 3-2 down, and you can get on them at 5. No, I'm kidding. We are kind of.
You're a bad man. You're a very, very bad man. I think we're.
On a genuine point, if you look at that Reading game, just look at. I mean, because we're talking about the stats, and actually that's the reason I love doing this, and I've got involved in these. I'm very much a stats person and understanding the numbers. And yeah, that's another game there where you look at that chart now for the second half of Reading. They're at home. They were 3-1 down. Actually, they were 3-0 down. And they've now pulled it back to 3-2 with 4 minutes to go plus added time. Yeah. They're the type of games that you go, right, okay, There's every chance there with the pressure. Of course, if you were watching this game live as well, that would also add to understanding of whether you can only imagine now at the Majeski that the crowd are getting behind that team looking to get a goal. Yeah,
agree. So c'est la vie, guys. There it is for tonight. There's still a couple of minutes left on those random Champions League games. We're not betting on those, of course. So I think we are pretty much done for the evening. Lee, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
No, I think it was a useful session, and it's interesting to look at some of the teams in the Championship, and we'll learn as we go. And 8-4 it looks worse than it actually was. I think really, I think we were close on a few of those, and we will go again.
Not to be perturbed. As long as we have £86 in the account, we shall come forward again. Of that, there's no doubt. Okay, so I'm going to try and take all of this stuff off of the screen in one fell swoop. Right, it's not going to be pretty, guys. It's not going to be pretty. And let's start by taking that off. And to be honest, we always want to say goodbye to an 8-4 defeat as quickly as we can. So I'm not sorry to see that go. I think I've lost something else, but I can't quite see what it is. But that's okay. Oh, it's your shared screen, right? That's just popped here.
That's the one bit I can do for you.
That's done. So thank you, Lee. I'm going to take you off screen now. Okay, so we remove your little image. We'll still have your voice. So thank you, sir. That was highly, entertaining evening. A lot of fun, and I think if I do that. There we go. Look at that. And now I will say goodbye to you guys. We will be back on Saturday at 3 p.m. for match day 3 in our betting challenge. So we hope to see you guys then. Cheers. Have a good week.